It's live on YouTube.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And we have the whole panel here. Good to see you out there in the chat. And I've got to get back to the chat, matter of fact, and see who is all out there. Aussie Man's out there, Michelle Marcoux, Ken McCrory, Luana Pierce. They were all out there in the chat. And let me set this computer back to over there where I can see the chat. Luana Pierce says, hi there, Simply Wooden Creations, and hi to you, Luana Pierce. I appreciate you being out there. Hoosier Mike is out there. Hello, everyone, he says. Michelle Marcoux. So, who the Spectacles Man? Well, I think I warned y'all all about this a few weeks ago. So Donna's Wood Art said, finally got on. Hi, all. Hi, Donna. How you doing? She's a very good friend of mine. I love her to death. She's had a lot of problems, health problems lately. So good to see her out there in the chat.
Hi, Donna.
Y'all can all unmute yourselves, by the way. I had told y'all all about this weeks ago that my eyes were getting so bad that I had to finally start wearing glasses. Well, I forgot to bring my other ones out here, but I have two sets of glasses. This one is for the upper part of it. It's got a bifocal, but they're transitional, or in other words, you can't see it in there. But the upper part is for looking at the computer screen, and the bottom part, if I turn it up, is for reading. Then I have another set, which is a nice gold Stetson set. I said Versace or whatever last week, but I made a mistake. I didn't like those. It turned out to be the Stetsons. But they're a nice gold set, and they have the distance for driving and the reading at the bottom. So if my wife and I go out to dinner, I wear those and I can still see the menu. If I'm working on the computer or in my shop, I wear these. And I picked these out because they're pretty heavy duty. I mean, they're really thick plastic, and I think they'll take a beating, and they'll work for me. And my daughter today saw me in them and said, I look like Clark Kent. And I went like, well,
that's a stretch.
Whatever. Huh?
That's a stretch.
Wait a minute, Superman and Santa Claus. You're screwing with my whole childhood.
Yeah, I don't think that was too good. So Patrick Workshop is up. Hello. John Schaffner is out there. He says, good evening, my cyber family. So good. So we have all these people out there. So I appreciate you being out there. So very much. And I'll try to keep up with chat in both places. But yes, I can actually don't have to strain, and I can sit back here. And Michelle Marcoux said, good evening, Donna. Aussie Man Said thumbs up, everyone. Don't forget that for Russ. And see, I can see all this. I couldn't see that before. I couldn't see it before. So,
hello, Dixon. Hello, Billy.
Huh?
I was just saying hello to Dixon Hoffman and.
Oh yeah, Dixon Hoffman's out there. Thank you, Dixon. Billy Burt.
It's TJ's also out there too.
Yeah, Dixon Hoffman says the link shows up 5 minutes. Yeah, there's a delay between the time that we start the show and it actually shows up over there on YouTube and everything else. So I'm just trying to see if it's showing up in both places. I've had so much problems with this crap. So
I got it working on both Facebook and YouTube.
Cool. And I know that people, there's some people out there enjoying my problems. So yeah, I won't talk about you, but
you know who you are.
Yeah, Odessa Woodworking and Makers. Hello,
yes,
Billy
Kilroy 79763.
John Schaffner says going Monday for new specs. Well, I've got mine, John. Donna says, "Oh, that's what I couldn't find. I don't know what you're talking about out there, but." Odessa says, "It's TJ can't wait to go on multiple giga meet."
Yeah.
I have no idea what the hell that means.
It's the game that we play. TJ had some baby gigas on there, and they're just all over the place, and we have to feed them. But anyway, it's just the game.
Luana Pierce says, "Glad you can see." Yeah, finally I can see. I don't have to wear. These are readers that I bought that I was wearing before from Walmart. These came from Walmart. Yeah, these were like $5, $6, $8, something really, really cheap. But these are actually good glasses. And yes, I can actually see. I can see all. So
Jimbo's wondering if you like the bald man joke, Russ.
Yes, I did like that. Red, do you like my bald man joke? Yes, I did. He posted a joke in there and it says like I'm bald, I'm fat, and blah blah blah, and don't F with me. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I laughed, and I could sympathize with him up to the point that you're bald, because I got a head full of hair. I mean, there's no problem with hair here, guys. I got a head full of hair, so I'm not going bald. Trust me. And even if I went bald, I still got this growing out here. So
you can just take the beard and just kind of flip it up and around.
Do a comb over.
I can do a wild spike. Look how long this is getting.
Yes.
I still got hair on the side of my head.
Ready for Santa Claus. I'm trying to get it ready for Santa Claus. So, anyway, welcome to the show. And before we get any farther, before I act any more unintelligent, let me talk about my wonderful sponsors. And they are Devobal Technologies for web design. I can see the damn page too. I got to ad lib. The web design, development, hosting, visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years of woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist. Woodworkingshop.com. Seiko, the scroll saw specialist. Seiko.com. Scrollnado, dust collection for your scroll saw, and you can find them on Amazon. And if you don't know about it, we have just started October 1st, the Scroll Saw Artist Challenge. And so from October 1st through the 31st is the Scroll Saw Artist Challenge. There is no, let me just go ahead and let me go here and get to the page that I want to go to. You would think I had this all set up, but I'm not that smart.
Sure you are, Russ. Come on.
I have to go through and
they just make it difficult, Russ. That's all it is.
Yeah, I just have to go through and set it all up when I get here. So let me go here to screen share again. And I'm going to share. share. And there we have it. We're at the 219 Scroll Saw Artist Challenge. This is running from the October 1st through the 31st, 219. So everything you need to know here is the 219 has no theme, no laser cutters or CNC machines allowed. You must be subscribed to simplywoodencreations.com on YouTube, and only one entry per channel. Create a build video making your project 5 minutes in length. And I've had a couple of people say it can only be 5 minutes. No, it can be longer than that, but I want at least 5 minutes. And you must show yourself making the project on your scroll saw in the video. And then you send the video and the link and all the other information to contest at simplywoodencreations.com. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. And the other thing is you can take 3 still photographs, 1 of you working on your project and 2 of the project, and send them to contest at simplywoodencreations.com. So that's what you have to do. Then the contest runs through October 1st through the 31st, 2019. The top 3 winners will have their choice, and they will be notified by email, and all the other blah, 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 blah is here. And these are actually the sponsors that we have at this moment. So Steve Good is posting a $100 gift card. Charles Hand is giving away 3 of his patterns. Jeez. Bearwood Supply is doing 4 $25 gift cards. Spirals by Steve. I haven't heard from Spirals by Steve as it's this time, but I'm pretty sure he'll come through, and then I'm giving away a $25 gift card. So there you have it. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. So there you have it. So that's what we're doing for the Scroll Saw Artist Contest. So if you're out there, you have a scroll saw, you can make something, and you can enter this contest, and there's a good chance that you might win something. Niantic River Woodcrafting with Chris Nealing is out there, and he says, hi, Al. Well, hi to you, too. So
T-Mac wants to know what you do if your camera's shy.
who
How do you
does?
enter? T-Mac.
What do you do if your camera's shy? Well,
Speech class says that
you're just poop out of luck.
in speech class you're supposed to think that everybody out
Yeah,
there.
you're just. I mean, I don't want to say the SESHI, so I'll just say you're poop out of luck.
SOL.
Yeah, SOL. So if you can't take 3 pictures, everybody's phone nowadays. Where's my damn phone? I don't even have it out
Lofty
here.
Man says, wear a mask.
Wear a
There
mask.
you go. And a lot of people
If you can't take a damn 3 pictures, you know, so something's wrong with you. And it was.
Actually, some of my favorite
All right,
videos,
so-
the artist doesn't even appear.
Let's get on with this. And so tonight, I have my good friend that I've known for, I don't know, Donald and I've known for each other. What? I was going to say 5, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And he used to be on the show every weekend, and then he went to work for that ugly blue company that I hate so very much. And they took him away from us, and he hasn't been back. But guess what? I've got Donald back, and good to have you here. And
Good to be here.
Yeah, Donald Matthews from Donald Vlogs 5 Woodshop.
Hello, everybody.
Yep.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you on here tonight as our guest, and I appreciate it. We're going to be talking to Donald in just a few minutes and go over, and he made a fantastic build that I really, really liked. And
Technically, I'm still making it.
You still make, yeah, he's still making it. When I approached him, I was like, okay, Donald, you know, he works a lot, so he can't do this every Saturday night. So I asked him, and lo and behold, he says, you know what? I'm going to be available on October 5th. I'm taking the day off, or I have the day off on October 5th. So I went, thumbs up, Donald, you're going to be here. Before we get to you, Donald, we're going to go down the list and let everybody tell where everybody's from. So, Brenda, go ahead and tell us where you're from.
Thank you, Russ. I'm Brenda G of Brenda G's Designs. You find me all over the internet as Brenda G's Designs. I'm on Etsy, Teespring, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Makers Media Network, G'sDesign.net.
I was trying to enlarge your, and I somehow messed it up. So
kicking me out?
No. Go ahead and say it again.
We'll try that one more time. You'll find me all over the internet as Brenda G's Designs. I'm on Etsy, Teespring, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Makers Media Network, and I have a website called BrendaG'sDesigns.net. On my website or on my YouTube channel, you'll find that I do crafts and I do comedy over there. And I do a live stream on Thursday night with this feller called Matt Haas. Maybe some of you heard of him. He has a multitude of channels on YouTube.
Very talented man, too.
4 that he'll admit to.
Yeah.
So come over on my channel on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you'll get to meet him and see us pull some shenanigans.
I think Matt's the only one that's going to go to YouTube anonymous.
And then Paul.
I'm on so few places that I don't. This is my notepad. Paul Corliss on Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, on Instagram, and paulsmessyworkshop.com. And Russ, I've already started on my Scroll Saw Artist Challenge, and I'm going to have it done by mid-month, and I might be the first one to have my video posted.
Cool.
That's my goal.
Cool.
It's a good goal.
That's all I got.
Al Forte.
Hey, hello. And Russ, I have not started my project. I need to. I've got something in mind, though, so let's hope it coalesces. Anyway, I'm Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop, Kilroy 79763, all over the place. You can find me pretty much everywhere if you search for Kilroy 79763. And I got one more thing to say. Good morning, good evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No matter where you are around the world, welcome to our world. It's good to have everyone here.
Great. Chris Ahern.
Hey guys, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop, and I promise tonight I won't be popping in and out like last week. I am literally 6 feet from the router tonight, so we should not have those problems. Anyways, you'll find me on Facebook, you'll find me on YouTube. Where you won't find me right now is out in the shop because I've got a dead table saw, and it's amazing how much you come to a grinding stop without a working table saw. So
that's what they made hand saws for.
Yeah, that's like too much like work.
And then now, Donald, you're in the big light. Tell us where we can all find you.
Okay, my YouTube channel is Donald Vlogsify's Wood Shop. I'm on Instagram as Donald Vlogsify's. Facebook, Donald Vlogsify's Wood Shop. And I'm on Twitter. I'm actually on Twitter, but I rarely Twitter because I'm not a Twitterer. I lost my password.
Tweet.
But that's where I'm at.
Cool. So very good. All right. So Donald has started a project that I've been following on YouTube and also over there in Facebook when he makes his posts. That was, you were making a table for a daughter, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell us about that.
Well, like I said, I started. Wow, it's been 5, 6 years ago. It's been a while. I started on it. My daughter had just moved in out on her own into a new place, and she needed a table and asked me to build one for her. And I got started on it, and in between there, things happened. Had to move to Wilson. Then I didn't have a shop for a while, and it just took me quite a while to get back on it.
All right. So now that you've started it back up, what woods were available, or what woods did you decide to use to make it out of?
Okay, well, just before she asked me, my niece she worked at a grocery store in receiving, and they just got in a new floor machine, and she noticed the pallet wood it was crated in was, nice. Some of it rough cut pine, some of it dimensional pine. There was some spruce 2x4s in there. She called me and asked me if I wanted it, and if I did, come on and get it. So I did. Then when my daughter asked me for that, I decided, well, we'll do a pallet wood table.
It's a shame you didn't have it ready far enough in advance that you could enter the pallet wood challenge.
Well, like I said, with that move in there and everything, some of the pallet wood got used for other stuff. So the actual tabletop is all the pallet. But then the apron and the legs, I wound up using some pine for the apron and some Douglas fir for the legs that I got from that blue store.
Right, that blue store. We all know where the hell you work. You work at Lowe's.
That's the reason why I'm not on the show too often. I got to be at Lowe's pretending to work and being one of those guys you can't find to help you.
Yeah. For those who are wondering, Donald used to be on my show every week. Every week for a couple of years at least. And then he had to move and everything, and his circumstances changed, and he went to work for Lowe's, and so therefore it wasn't me kicking him off the show. He just told me I'm working and I can no longer be on the show anymore.
Well, when I moved, I was staying with Mama, and that paying her a little bit in rent and all that good stuff. But then when she went into the nursing home and I had to move, the rent went up.
Right.
So Donald had to find a job.
Yeah.
Well, a part-time job to supplement.
I understand. I totally understand. No problem. So, with your source of materials, what was the design that you kind of were trying to think of as you were making it?
I always called it just your standard kitchen eating table. I guess some folks would call it a farmhouse table.
Yeah, farmhouse. Yeah.
And that was just basically it: an apron, 4 legs, and a tabletop. And then I happened to, I forget who it was I was watching, but I got to watching some of the breadboard downs being made, which was popular. There was quite a few videos of it out there at the time. And I was like, okay, well, would you the pallet wood? Yeah, I'll put a breadboard in. That'll help keep it straight. So that's what I went with.
Yes. Yeah, that would. So do you have some pictures you want to share with us about what you...
Yeah, I went through and cut some pictures out of the video because during part of the time, you remember the lightning ran in on my computer and ran into my external drive that I had all those videos and stuff on. So part of that footage got lost.
Yeah.
So here I hit screen share.
Appalachian Heritage Woodshop wants to know what you do at Lowe's and what department.
I'm in electrical, trying to figure out what I'm doing there because I'm no electric. But that's where they stuck me. Okay. Am I sharing now? Share audio.
Yeah.
All you have to do is to down at the bottom. You should see a thing that says share screen.
Share screen, and now it's asking me.
Which screen?
You should just pick on the screen that you want to share and hit share.
Yeah. And by the way, I put Donald's YouTube.
Yeah, I've got it up there now
in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Am I sharing now?
Nope. You will go down to the bottom. It'll say share screen. As soon as you hit that, should open up a block in the top part, and all you have to do is click on that screen and hit share.
Share. Okay.
There you go.
Now you got me.
There
Now
you go. Woo!
All right.
Go to where you want to go.
To infinity and beyond.
Okay, let me open this up. Get my computer. Okay, this is where I built that story stick. Beforehand, I'd already cut these boards to length and all that. I didn't worry about thickness in them or anything. I just made sure the bottom, I was making the bottom flat, and I was going to have to come back and plane the top anyway, so I leveled that off then when I did that. That's my story stick there, so I know where to put the little dominoes I used in between the boards, and I just marked it that way. Then after I marked it, I used a drill, a forcing bit, and drilled out some of the waste there, and made mortises to put the dominoes in to join the tabletop pieces together.
So obviously, you didn't have a domino machine. You're actually cutting these out by hand.
Right. I'm doing that by hand. I looked at the domino machines, and that was just a little bit out of my price.
Yeah, what
range.
are they, like $600-800 or something like that?
I think the festivals are. You can get some cheaper ones, but they're still up there in price range.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's at the time. Well, I still am. I kind of like messing with the hand tools and trying to figure out how to do the stuff myself anyway. So,
Donald, I've got a question.
yeah.
You like making your own tool, also, right?
Some of them, yeah. I've
Did you
ground out
make
some
those clamps that are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Izzy Swan has a video up where he showed how to make them.
Cool.
And then I made a video, of course, after I asked him if it was all right, how to make them, and they're just wedge clamps.
Cool.
I think they've been around for a while. It's not a new design or anything.
I like them. I like them.
But again, I went looking for the Bessie clamps and all that stuff was just as many as I needed was just out of my price range.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of why I mentioned that.
that's where part of them 2x4s from that pallet wood come from. Was making the clamps actually put the table together with, and then of course I had those strap clamps there that helped. And I just laid 3 clamps on the bottom, laid some plastic over it. The thing with wooden clamps, if you're gluing something up like this, you need to put some plastic down or make sure those wooden clamps are waxed real good. Otherwise, you'll be gluing it to the clamp. So that's why the plastic's there.
Done that.
Yes, me too.
And you just put the dominoes there, line them up, tap them down with glue in between them, and I kind of did it 2 pieces at a time, and then finally ended up with the whole table glued up. It was a little bit of a process, and then that's where I was flattening down the top and the bottom. Like I said, the bottom was still pretty flat because I made it to where the bottom was basically the reference point for being flat when I glued it up. And it being pallet wood, they weren't all the same thickness. So I just, took the plane and planed it down till it was even all around, or rough even, because I still have some more work to do to it.
Yeah, but then you did that all with a hand plane, right?
Yeah.
So what is the overall width of this table?
Oh, wow. I don't even remember. It's
36 inches?
It's 30. I think it's actually closer to 42.
42 by 5 foot or 5 or 6 foot?
Yeah.
And you hand planed all that crap?
Yeah.
All that crap.
Jeez.
Yep.
You're a better man than I am.
Trust me, that took quite a while to get that part of it done. There's about at least 2 weeks of me just planing it because I get tired after a little while.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That's
But
a lot of sharpening your plane too, isn't it?
Yep. Which the planes I got, they do pretty good as far as keeping the edge. So it was mostly after I got that first edge on, it was mostly just slap them on the strap, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, that amazes me. There is no way in hell that I would plane all that with a hand plane. That just ain't going to happen.
I guarantee you, I lost about 20 pounds doing it with sweating.
Whoa.
The Appalachian Heritage Woodshop wants to know, did you use winding sticks to get the top level?
No, actually, I didn't. I went, just kind of measured it and used I guess you call it a straight edge, a yardstick, make sure everything was flat and level, and just that's pretty much all I could do with it because I didn't. Winding sticks and the way it was set up in the room that I had, it wouldn't work right.
Yeah,
Right.
Austin's asking if don't Lowe's sell electric planers?
What's the fun in that? I'm a hand tool guy, dude.
Let me tell you, I applaud you.
Yeah.
For doing all that.
That's
I
a lot of work.
I give you
that's a lot of work. But I know in the same aspect, you're making this for your daughter, so you're putting a lot of love and care in it. So,
Yep. Well, I mean,
I just don't love my. Never mind.
Good thing Father's Day ain't coming up.
Yeah, it's already passed, and I got my gifts.
But part of it is some of these hand tools were handed down to me from my father, who I've got a handsaw out there that was handed down to him by his grandfather, which was my great grandfather, and it's just cool to me to work with tools that they worked with.
I got one of those too, but I don't use it because I don't want to wear it out.
Well,
that's a good one, Paul.
The people in my family would be like, "What's the point of having a tool if you ain't gonna use it?" Now it's kind of like Mama. One time, I was going to make her a flower bed, and she got upset because I was planting something she couldn't eat. So, I mean,
True. All right, well, continue on.
All right, so like I said, that's me just flattening that down. Then in the pallet wood, of course, you've got these nail holes, and I was going to originally fill it up with epoxy or whatever, but Lynn Lacey mentioned doing plugs, and he offered to send me a couple of plug cutters. So he sent me those, and that's what I did there. I just drilled some holes.
Question: did you have to drill the holes out and then put the plugs in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a lot of work, bro.
Well, I mean, it's not as hard as you think it is. The hardest part for me was drilling those plugs, all those plugs. Or are you talking about, did I have to drill the plugs out then cut them off?
No, you had to drill the hole to put the plugs in because the nails obviously weren't. So every one of those had to be drilled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a lot of.
Which you don't have to go all the way. You don't have to go all the way. I didn't have to go all the way through with it.
I understand that, but still, that's a lot of drilling.
Yeah.
Did you make the plugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut it out with one of the plug cutters that Lynn sent me, and I had some back when they were doing the tree challenge thing. I had some of that silver birch, I think it's called, left over. Some of those boards, I just cut the plugs out of that, and
I love
drilled those holes there. Kind of lined them up as best I could.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. You had to drill the holes, then make the plugs, and put in for every one of those.
Yeah,
and then plane it off.
It's called woodworking. It's called woodworking.
I like I like Dixon Hoffman's comment. He says, I give you credit. I would have had chipmunks chew it level before doing that by hand.
Which, as far as the hand tool, trust me, these holes were drilled with a power drill.
Yeah.
I did not use the bracing bit here.
You didn't do this to it.
Yeah, I would have been impressed if you used the bit and brace.
Yeah.
Hey, in
No,
total,
that won't happen.
total transparency, I'm a digital woodworker. I wouldn't have sat there and planed either.
You know, I just now realized something. When I have the chat open like this, Brenda is totally covered up. We can't even see her.
Yeah, I can make all kinds of faces down here, and you never know it.
So how the hell do I get rid of that chat?
It's gonna be a way to turn it off.
You have to click on it. The same one that
you have to bring up a current one, don't you? And then
you can bring up a current one and then click on it again, and that'll take it off.
And there's no way to put that
There
window-
we go.
Yeah.
Then Brenda's going to forget about it, make some faces, and end up needing
All right, continue on. I'm going to take it off for now because I thought it was really cool, but then I looked down and went like, I can't see Brenda. I can't see her. Go ahead.
You put some glue in the holes, push the plug in there, get it, and tap it down. Then later on, come back with the plane and plane it down. Now, this was before I realized the benefit of a flush cut saw. Because if you can cut it down flush, it makes smoothing it out with the plane a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I eventually gave up. Well, I didn't give up on the planer. I took a sander and sanded them down a little bit closer. But when I got a flush cut saw, if I'd had one of those, that would have been the way I went.
Right. You'd have flush cut them first and then plane them.
Right.
Right.
Because working that plane over that, it catches on that, and you end up just breaking that little plug.
Right. You end up causing more damage than you're doing good because, you're catching on the edge of it, and it's just taking chunks out. And actually could take a chunk out that is lower than the top of the table itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so was that the Appalachian Heritage's saw that he gave you?
The one that I finally used when I put the pegs on the end, I didn't have it at the time here when I was doing this part of it. I wish I had, but.
Cool.
I just wondered because he asked the question out there. So I guess there'll be a video coming out of you using.
Matter of fact,
Heritage's
I think that's why he sent it to me. He saw me doing this and was like, dude.
Yeah.
Cool.
But then, of course, you got these knot holes here that I needed to fill in. I don't reckon I had to, but I wanted to. And I mixed some, I had some Purple Heart sawdust.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's
I mixed it in with the epoxy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I filled the holes up with it, sanded it down, and, that's how I filled that stuff.
Yeah, that's all.
Nice.
That is really nice. Yeah. The thinking about it, putting that extra little, pizzazz into there. Yeah, that's awesome.
And the reason I chose Purple Heart is my daughter loves the color purple, and I'm a big fan of it too. So there you go.
Purple Heart. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And like I said, that was before I'd figured out that you could buy that epoxy at Hobby Lobby and make with the pigment and all that. But I liked it better with the Purple Heart dust anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Then I had, with that pallet wood, I had some 3x4s. They were cut to build the pallet. So I say 3x4, but they weren't exact. So I, measured that up and resawed it and made the breadboard ends there. That's where I was planing that down smooth because that bandsaw liked to wobble a little bit.
Yeah. They can. Trust me, if you don't have it set up right, or if it's not a good bandsaw.
Well, the Shopsmith bandsaw, for what it is a pretty good bandsaw, but it takes a lot of practice and experimentation on learning how to use it and get the right cut out of it. I got it good enough to where I could use it before I lost the bandsaw. but it's still something on that one. If you're doing a lot of resawing or anything like that, I'd recommend a separate bandsaw.
Right.
The Appalachian Heritage Woodshop asks, have you ever used a card scraper on the epoxy?
Not on the epoxy. I've used it on bare wood, but I hadn't even thought about the epoxy.
And T-Mac wants to know, could you use dowels cut to length at the boards together? Drill holes and then plug them with the cut off dowels.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same principle. The reason I did that is because I had that wood laying around. And
Yeah. Well, you can't. Let me interject here. You can't cut the dowels to perfect length.
oh no,
Yes, because when you drive them in, you always want them to be a little bit proud,
right?
Yeah.
so that you can either sand or plane them off. So,
Well, and when
yes,
those
if you have a 2-inch hole for a dowel, you can cut the dowels like 2 1/8 and drive them in, and then have that little bit that you can sand or plane down. But you never want to cut them to the perfect length, because then you'll have a divot in the table. Or whatever.
Yeah, 'cause you've got two variables there: the wood movement and losing moisture. It shrinks, and along with the glue, when it dries, it shrinks a little bit. So then you'll end up with a divot there.
And when you cut plugs with that plug cutter, they're not straight either. They're kind of like that. So as they go down in the hole, they wedge themselves in.
They wedge themselves in. Yes.
Yeah, it makes them a little bit added. It's kind of like when you do dovetails or something, and you kind of buffer that edge a little bit, or put it.
But what he's saying is true. I've used dowels instead of plugs too. So
yes, you can use dowels for. Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. You just can't do them. Just automatically make them flush to the board.
Right.
You're gonna run into problems.
Yep.
And then this is where I was starting to make the tenon on the end of the board.
Yep.
To put the breadboard end on.
Yep.
And I just marked it with a straight line and took the router and come down it, got as close to that as I could. I actually tried doing this without the router by a chisel, and that's one of those things that my forefathers were better people than I am.
I bet. Yes, I bet.
And they do actually have a hand router that would make that a lot easier, but I haven't made one and haven't gotten around to getting one off of Amazon or anything like that. And I'm one who I like using hand tools, but I am not ashamed to use a power tool either.
Time out.
Yes.
Portal Woodworks, I just got a $2 super chat, and he said, "Go Gators!" That's right, Gators. The Florida Gators won against Auburn today, so go Gators! Thank you very much, Portal Woodworks. Thank you. I appreciate that very much for your super chat. So go ahead, Donald. I had to interject there.
Okay, go Carolina. But anyway, and that like I said, that just showing how close I got up to it, and then I cleaned that up with a chisel later on.
Right. Now, when you were doing that, did you? I mean, because I know there's variations in the wood when you're trying to go down and keep a straight line as straight as you can possibly keep it. You still run into the soft and hard places where the router wants to go left and right.
Yeah.
So, would you give yourself a 1/4 inch or so?
A 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Sometimes I feel real cocky and real healthy and strong about myself, and I'll get right up on that line. That particular night, I was a little bit shaky anyway.
That was all because I know I've tried that thing too, and I was like, I get up there to an 8 if I'm brave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So.
And you're gonna have to clean it up with a chisel anyway. So
why
risk it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Then this is me marking. You can see the marks for the tenons I have for the tenons there, and that's me marking where the mortises will go on the breadboard. I just lined it up with that as best I could. And over here, one of the mortises wound up having to go through a knot hole here, which kind of worried me. But what I did was, again, I took some of that epoxy with some of that Purple Heart sawdust and packed it down into the knot and the holes of it, and let it dry. And when I came back, started drilling the waste away. It worked surprisingly well.
Cool.
I didn't have much, of course, your chisel needs to be sharp, and you need to be careful when you're going through that knot, but you can chisel through a knot, and it can be done.
Yeah.
Just gotta be careful.
Yeah. I think from my experiences is you have to take it really easy and slow when you're going through a knot. In other words, if you're in the regular wood, you can like just whack the hell out of the chisel and go down in there and get it done. But
you can't.
If you're dealing with a knot, you gotta like take little small taps and
And once you get a knife wall established on the sides, then the middle part of it you can knock out all you want to. But on the sides, you got to be careful.
Well, it's got to be small taps and sharp chisel.
The Appalachian Heritage Woodshop said you should have used the knot hole mover that Lowe's sells.
Yeah.
I looked along with the board stretcher, but just again a little bit out of my price range.
The board stretcher with the paint stretcher.
Yep.
Hey, Russ, you got another super chat.
Oh, Loanna Pierce, thank you so very much. I mean, guys, thank you. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Thank you. Go ahead, Donald.
Okay. And then along.
Oh, by the way, before Donald says anything, if anybody else would like to go ahead and donate money out there, just go ahead and feel free to. I mean, it's like, I would love to have it, and I'll call out your name at the same time. Go ahead, Donald. Never mind. Money out there. Go ahead and feel free to. I mean, it's like, I would love to have it, and I'll call out your name at the same time. Go ahead, Donald. Never mind. Where are we getting the damn echo from?
I don't know. I thought you were replaying the thing.
Oh, yeah, well, go ahead.
But anyway, right here you'll see there's the tenons. I didn't cut all the way down to the tabletop there. There's a lip running across there.
Yeah.
So up here, this is how I got rid of that in between the tenons on the breadboard. I just kind of sawed it out like that and then tapped it out with a chisel and cleaned it up as I went.
Wow.
How deep did you go down in there?
I don't think that was much more than an inch. The tenons were 2 or 3
much
inches.
More than an inch. Do you realize?
Well, the tenon is more than like about 2 to 3 inches, probably closer to 3.
I know, but still.
But I think I had that lip there. I probably should have made it longer, but I think I ended up with an inch on it, maybe a little bit less actually. And then, of course, you got to cut out the tenons there, and that's where I was tapping the breadboard on. And anytime you work like this, you're going to have to clean something up, and it's just a matter of cutting it out, trimming it, trying it. If it's not working right, trim a little bit more off, figure out where you need to trim and all that stuff, which you'll find out. I found out a little bit later I ain't so great at, but anyway.
Now that's a scroll. That's a
coping saw.
Coping saw. Thank you. Yeah,
I just found it's easier. I just found it's easier for me to cut that there, than cut that waist.
Yes.
Away with that, and then just smooth up to that line there with the chisel.
Yeah, you get the right blade on a coping saw, and you can make some very accurate stuff. So.
And then this is where I was putting the pegs that would hold the breadboard in onto the tenon. Just drilled a hole in there, figured out where I wanted that, drilled the holes, and put the breadboard back on the tenons, and marked where the hole was with the
Maybe
same
there's
size
another one.
Forstner bit. Do I out?
There's another donation right there.
Oh.
Portal Woodworks.
Porterwood. Oh, thank you.
Super chat. Woo!
Special guest there, star against the proceeds, right?
Yeah, we'll discuss that after the show's over. Okay.
It should have been in the contract to start with.
Yeah, you'll get 1%.
You get the, Donald, you get the same share that we get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just took that Forstner bit and the point that's on it. I fit it back in that hole and just kind of tapped it a little bit to give me a mark. Then when I marked the hole for it to go through to allow for wood movement, and it's kind of a staggered hole or mortise, I guess you'd call it. Instead of going exactly where that is, I move up closer to the board by about 1/16 of an inch. I move that center hole in there. So that way, when you tap it in there like that, it's supposed to draw that board up a little bit tighter.
That's a draw. That's a draw bore, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I put it together, I believe it was the two end pieces were the only ones that I glued up. I don't remember now if it was the end tenons or the center tenon, but I didn't put glue on all the tenons because you got to allow for that movement.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, the Operation Heritage Wood Shop says it's called a draw bore hole.
Oh, yes.
And then on these, once you get the pegs tapped in there, you just put a little bit of glue on there like that to hold them in place in the top breadboard. You don't necessarily want it down inside the joint. And you just tap them on in there and wait for them to dry, and then take the flush cut saw,
Cut them
off and plane it down.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about a while ago, there's that gap. That, again, this is my first breadboard in, so I wound up with a gap here.
Right.
And to fix that, I was trying to figure out how to do that. What I did was made a mark up here. I forget how wide I made it, but just enough to make it. As Russ said one time, if you can't fix it, enhance it.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald, you should have said, and what I ended up doing on the end here is I ended up adding some of this just to make it look nicer. You have to say that it came up short.
I read this in some kind of wood magazine or some kind of a decorative magazine or something years ago, and they said if you have a place and that's a bad place, if you can't fix it, then enhance it, because obviously it'll draw people's attention and they'll think that you made some of this brilliant thing to do there, but it was actually you were trying to fix a problem. So yeah.
But so I made a gap there.
There you go.
Whatever width it was, and all the way down the board, tried to make it look straight.
Yes.
And then I poured epoxy in, which I'm afraid may have negated the point of the joinery for allowing for the wood movement, because the epoxy sucked down all into the where the tenons were and all that.
Yeah, that's what I would be worried about when you poured the epoxy. When I saw that, is the fact that let's say that your house has about when you poured the epoxy, a certain 80% humidity, and when you take it over to her house, it has like a house. Somebody has got a back feed big time that I can hear myself. A 60% humidity. So in that transverse of going from one humidity to the other humidity, I'm kind of worried if it will shrink or pull or do something with that joint.
Yeah, I mean, that's what worries me. But then I was telling my daughter about it. She said, well, that's no big deal. I'll just get you another one. So
yeah, it's not any big deal. I mean, it's not any big deal. It's your love that you're creating to give to your daughter. So if it does develop some cracks or whether you can fill them afterwards.
Yeah, I mean that won't be too big a problem. Plus,
No, it won't. It won't.
It's pallet wood, and the wood was pretty stable. So that
Donald, this is all about you making this for your daughter and the love for your daughter. That's all it's about.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, you know, when I made the decision to do this, all that went into the process. I mean, it's pretty. Yeah. The wood was pretty stable. I didn't think if it moved any, it wouldn't be much at all. And you know, I had to throw a Hail Mary because I had to do something about that.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. I agree. I would have done the same thing you've done.
And again, she likes purple, so it's just another highlight for her.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I started out, I was originally going to just go ahead and finish the whole thing with French polish or OB shine juice, as the us wood turners like to call it. But friction polish, it's the same thing. But that was another one of them areas where would it have worked? Yeah, but would it have been a whole heck of a lot more work than I was willing to do at the time? Yes.
Right.
So that's the first initial coat on that. I ended up coming back and putting several coats of poly on it, which I'll eventually sand down and polish, you know, smooth out and polish down. But I wanted to get some kind of protection on this because before I moved over into doing the apron and the legs, so if it got knocked around a little bit or whatever, there'd be some protection from the wood getting dinged.
I think you're going to get a whole lot more protection with poly than you ever would with a French polish.
Yeah, I agree. The poly is, once you start putting the poly on, it's going to seal it up and keep it nice. And
now, is that the regular poly, or is that water based?
No, it's just regular clear poly.
Yeah,
that really looks nice.
I haven't done a whole lot of work with the water based poly, but from what I've heard of it, it's probably not something I'd particularly care for. So,
well, it works great in circumstances, but I think the oil based for what you're wanting to do and what you're doing would have been my choice, undoubtedly, because it'll get into the pores, seal them up, and if anything, I think it would improve the less moisture leaving or getting into the wood. And therefore create expansion and contraction. So I think you've made a good choice for that. Yes.
I really like those purple lines on there. Those
I know.
They really cool.
Yeah, I like them too.
They look fantastic.
Thank you. And then, you know, I kind of wrapped it up and I went ahead and decided to bring it up into the house just because all the clutter I got around in my shop and I'm moving long boards around and all that, it would have been safer in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
I
do that too.
And then there's the Douglas fir that I cut for the legs. They were like, I cut them at 29 inches. 29 and a half inches, I think, is the standard. I looked up what the standard leg length was, and that's what I cut those at.
Yeah.
I know it's around 29, 30 inches. And then I squared them off and decided I think I made them like 3.5 by 3.5 up top. And I started to resaw it with a handsaw, and I would not have thought Douglas fir was as hard a wood as it was, but when I got started on it, I realized why they classify it as a hardwood. So over to the table saw I went.
Note to self.
And, you know, I cut them down, and then I marked where the mortise and tenon for the where the apron would join at was, and I went down that with a router, and I covered myself up and didn't realize what I was doing. But anyway, when you run the router down there, you naturally have that rounded end there.
Yeah. Yes.
So I just cleaned that up with a chisel, and where like Russ was saying a while ago, with the wood every once in a while wants to pull the router in a certain way, the grain of the wood.
Yep.
So here you can see right there where it was. I kind of dipped into it a little bit. I cleaned all that up with a chisel.
Yep.
And then I tapered it. What I did was on that, I decided how big I wanted the bottom of the leg to be, which I think I decided on around 1.5 inches, something like that. I marked that down there on the bottom of it and came up here and decided about where the apron would come from and went a little bit below that and then just marked that taper down to the thickness of the leg.
Damn.
And that I didn't have any choice but to do by hand because I really couldn't think of a way to make a jig to make on that. On the Shopsmith, it's a cool thing, but you've got a limited amount of space on that tabletop. So making a jig for it to cut these angled cuts on something as long as these legs could have been a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, I had to do that by hand. And what I did was I just cut these two sides here, planed them down to the line, flipped it over and did the other two sides. And that left me with a tapered leg. Then, of course, I decided where I want these decorative lines to go to. And I ran down it with a pointy bit in the router.
A pointy bit. Okay, I like that.
That's the technical term.
That's right.
It would be like a V-bit.
Yeah, a V-bit. That's the word.
V-bit 20.
But the way I kept that straight was I put one of those pieces of Douglas fir strips that I cut off his waist. I just kind of clamped it to the table. I got my router set. I drilled a hole there and then set my router in it and got that set up next to the router, clamped it down, and did the same thing down here. And that kept my router straight all the way down. Gave me something to ride against.
Cool.
Very cool.
Luana Pierce says all the love he puts in it for his daughter.
Yeah, I know. It's
Dang straight. That's baby girl right there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I marked the tenon that would be joining there. I'm kind of wishing now I'd made these a little bit longer, but I'm in it now, so ain't a whole lot I can do about it.
yeah.
And what I eventually ended up deciding on doing, that's after I put the table together, kind of dry fitted it to make sure the proportions of the legs and everything was right. And that's the tabletop on top of it.
Tabletop, I mean, it's all beautiful, but the tabletop is awesome. I mean, that looks
Yeah.
But then on the apron, this pine that I got, it just looked awful white next to that Douglas fir. So I attempted to try and make it match a little bit. So I took some, I believe it was golden pecan stain,
right.
and some of that red epoxy dye, and I mixed in there with it. I think I used a little bit of denatured alcohol just to kind of help break things up a little bit. I stained it with that. And then put some boiled linseed oil on it.
What the hell? Just throw the kitchen sink in there with it too.
Well, I wanted to that Douglas fir had kind of a reddish tint to it, and I was trying to get to that.
Right.
And I don't know enough about the different shades of stain as to which one would come closer to outside.
Well, you bought alcohol and stain and this. I mean, you've already mixed so much crap in there. It's like,
hey. If it's got alcohol in it, she knows it's from her dad, or what her dad used to be.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, now you're there where I'm at now, putting coats of polyurethane on it.
right.
I thought I had it down and ready to go. I polished one side, as an experiment, wet sanded it, and put the same stuff, with headlight polish, plastic polish on it.
Right.
Like for the pins, and it turned out looking pretty fine. So I started doing the rest of them, and I realized that first one that I did, there was something about the grain in the wood in it. It didn't rise up as much or something. When I did the other ones, when I wet sanded it and went to go put that plastic polisher on it, you could see the grain where I'd hit sandpaper, had hit the actual wood.
Right.
So now I'm having to go back and put some more coats of poly on it.
Yeah. You could see where you bottom out through the finish and got in. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You know how the hard grain runs in between the soft grain, and that hard grain had risen up at some point or whatever, and that's what was showing.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
That's the same thing I was explaining about the router bit. When you're trying to hand do something and you're pushing it through the wood, there are soft and hard spots in that wood, and that router is going to try to go to the soft spot. So it's a fight to keep that damn thing straight.
Donald, you need to get a photo book and run copies of all these pictures that you're showing us here and put in that photo book and give them to your daughter along with that table.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So she not only has a table, but she has all these photos of you actually building. So later on down the road, we're not all going to live together or forever. We can all live together, but we're not going to all live forever.
No, I don't think we're not living together either, Russ.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, that's what I'll probably do.
Yeah.
I don't have the I carried you for 9 months.
That's right.
But I worked on this for 5 years for you.
You could probably do a video with those photos, just the way you did the presentation here too.
Yeah.
Only without the interruptions.
I can honestly say, on a scale from 1 to 10, people that we've had on there or on the show in the last 5 years to do a presentation, you're ding, 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 a 10, right along with everybody else.
Yeah, good
presentation. I didn't have any pictures because I hadn't got that far yet. The way I did the tenon, that'll go into the legs,
right?
The apron into the legs. I cut a split down the middle of that tenon, and I'm going to wedge it in there with a little wedge. And I couldn't remember what the name of that joint was, but I've seen it before on Gerald Vance. When I showed a picture of it, Gerald Vance come on my Instagram and said that's a foxtail joint. So props out to him for reminding me what it was.
Is anybody, when you start wearing your glasses, you kind of get adjusted to it? Do you have problems with like starting to like give you a little bit of a headache?
Yep.
Yeah, that sometimes happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I only use mine. My reading glasses is prescription because it's only one eye that's real weak.
Yeah, I have that same thing.
So I only use it if like I'm working on something real close that's really hard to see. I don't use them in front of a computer. If anything, I mean, you can magnify the computer, but there's just something about that light that just.
But I've noticed that if I wear these for, like tonight, I'm trying to wear them during the whole show. Now I'm starting to get a little bit of a. So I guess it's just a matter of getting used to have to wearing glasses.
And if you're like me, I forget to take them off in between reading. Like if I go to do something else, I just leave them on because I forget they're there. And when I finally do take them off, I'm dizzy and drunk.
Yeah.
My glasses have a prism in them to keep my eyes going straight. And when I take off my glasses, it really is a.
Oh, I bet.
So your eyes go weird one way or the other?
One does, yeah.
I was married to a woman that had a backhand to keep my eyes straight.
I guess we could call you Paul a little cockeyed.
A little bit.
A little cockeyed Paul. No, I mean, like I said, I used to be proud of the fact that I made it to 62 years old without having to wear glasses, but these last few months, it's really progressed a lot further than I would ever expected it. So I'd say the last 6 months. So I'm finally down to it. And actually, I don't mind it. I've just got to get used to them because I can damn sure see the screen now and read things.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but you always got your safety glasses on.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Plus.
Jim Dockwell says, you see, I kind of read this before. Jim Dockwell says, wait until you have to go down the stairs the first day with bifocals. Yeah, I've heard about that. My doctor warned me about that with these, because these are not the distant glasses. These are the ones I'm going to be wearing in the shop. And he says, when you fit them, you might want to make sure you fit them so they're a little lower so you can look over the top when you walk. Because like if you'll be fine on flat surfaces, but when you get ready to go up or down a step, yeah, you may not see the step accurately, in other words. So I'm like, okay. So
When I got my first ones, I remember leaving the doctor's office, glasses are on, and I walked right into the door. I was a lot closer to it than I thought I was. So,
wow.
well, I was still adjusting, so I was correcting without thinking about it. So, and then the doctor goes, "I knew you were going to do that." So,
I would appreciate it for all y'all still being out there into the chat. I have a restream bot. I didn't know that.
It's working on Facebook. Chris Nealon just said, "Wow, it's working on Facebook." So
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So
first time for everything.
I would appreciate you giving me a thumbs up, because we've had 48 people watching. We're down a little bit less now, and I only got 22 people with thumbs up. So if you're out there in the chat, yeah, just if you wouldn't mind, it don't take but a second to reach over there and go click and give me that thumbs up, and I would surely appreciate it, especially since we've had such a fantastic guest tonight, Donald, and all the information he gave us tonight. And I know the other two a-holes that are giving the thumbs down. I know who they are, so that's okay.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yes,
Smash
sure.
it!
Go ahead.
Smash it!
Smash it. But yeah, I would appreciate it very much, because
How'd you know it was Al and I that gave you the thumbs down?
Y'all are the a-holes, in other words.
even bad press is press.
That's right.
True.
So anyway, but yeah, I mean, Donald did really.
Yeah, that was good.
Fantastic.
Hey, Steve French is out there and saying it's nice to see Donald on again.
Who was out there?
Steve French.
Steve French. Yeah, it is nice to see Donald again. And trust me, I didn't kick Donald off the show. Trust me. He just told me, I'm sorry, but I'm working at Home Depot and I don't have the time to be.
Home Depot.
He gave him an ultimatum.
Yeah, I mean Lowe's. He went to Lowe's. Why did I say Home Depot? I have no.
Trust me, I'd much rather be here on the show than there.
Yeah. Well, Donald, we miss you. I can honestly say I've missed you. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've missed doing it. I mean, I have fun up here with you guys.
Yeah, I have missed.
Those were the days, huh, Donald?
Trust me.
Yep.
Yeah, they were back in the days, and it's sad that and I'm still trying to fight to find out if I go with the G Suite, which would allow up to 100 people to be in the online, if it'll work with YouTube. And I'm still trying. Yeah, trying to find out if that'll work. I don't mind paying the $25 or even $50 a month if that's what it takes, but to get my panel back. And I mean, we got John Schaffner Katie Dodson that I love to have on, Russ Meadows that I love to have on every week, and it's like it's killing me, but it is what it is.
He's got these two a-holes to deal with.
Yeah. Wow.
And him. Yeah. and okay, there's one down there too.
Wrong one. I didn't mean you, Don. I meant
Oh, trust me, I am.
over in the corner.
Steve French says, hello all. Sorry I've been ridiculously busy and distracted for the past several years. It's hard to catch me in the show live anymore. Well, Steve, you suck.
Yeah. Steve, miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we missed you, but you suck. You should have been here. I mean, what the heck? So,
Hey, since we're talking about the panel, Russ, you need to replace me for the next 2 weeks.
I can replace you for the next 2 weeks.
We
Yeah, I'm going
can't
to be
replace
someplace in
you.
the Caribbean.
Oh my God, he's going to be
Oh
cruising
my!
again.
Are you so next Saturday and the following Saturday you're going to be in the Caribbean?
Yep.
Holy crap! Okay, well,
Didn't you pay
So-
for the internet package?
I'm not going on a cruise ship, so I can hang out with you guys. So,
well,
Hey,
let me put it this way: even if he paid for the internet package, I've been on
Yeah.
2 cruises. It sucks. There's no way you can
Yeah.
do a live stream or anything else from there.
and by 8:00 on Saturday night, I don't think I'm going to be pretty operational. So,
Oh,
Yeah, I would be willing to say you would be inebriated.
maybe a little bit. So, but
Steve French says, "I know I suck." Steve is a very good friend. Well, Steve lives, and I haven't seen him in a while. And we got to have lunch, Steve. We really do have to have a lunch. We used to have lunch like every 2 or 3 weeks. We'd go to lunch together, and that hasn't happened in a while. So yeah, we got to have lunch again, Steve. He's
Hey,
a heck of a nice guy. I love Steve French to death. He just a heck of a nice guy.
I've even had lunch with Steve and you, Russ. I mean, and that's going to be a thing of the past too. I won't probably be able to ever have lunch again.
Yeah. He says, I miss you too, Russ. So yeah.
Yeah, Steve rocks.
Yeah, he does. He's really good. He's really good. He's doing these put it out there, home design or whatever, where he does these videos where they send him stuff and he does a review about it.
home fixture fixation or something.
Yeah. Go ahead and push it out there. And and I've been following his videos, and he does. I want to tell you, he does a fantastic job of presenting the tool and saying what it will do. And I've watched him do several of them before. And
I
That's
agree.
what she said.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Russ.
it had to be said. Had to be
well,
said.
I would have said that's what she told me last night. All right, so we're running about 9:17. Yeah, we've run over or a little over the hour, which that's fine. I don't care. We could be here all night if that's what we need to do. But yeah, we're I appreciate you being on here, Donald, and I think, like I said, once again, this is no BS, but I think it's probably one of the better shows that we've had. You took a lot of time to put not only the pictures together, but give us detailed information on what you did and how you did it. And I'm amazed. I am totally amazed because I know you're not what you would say is a, you're not the wood whisperer or some of these big guys that do a lot of woodworking, but yet in the same aspect, you are right up there with them. You do all the stuff with hand tools. I know you use a bandsaw and stuff like that, but my point is you do a lot of this stuff by hand tools, and the way you do it, you are awesome, my friend. Just awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
You rock, Donald.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
Awesomeness, Donald.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah, he's all right.
Now I'm sorry that I don't comment on your videos or
I
say
want to give him a big head.
as much
Too
as
late
I
for that.
should. Say as much as I should, but yeah, you rock. It's really good, and I hope that anybody's watching this tomorrow or Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday. Tonight or tomorrow, which is Sunday.
Tomorrow.
Some of the people do watch it on Sunday, not tonight. They watch them because they are in Australia and different places, and they watch it the next day. I hope they will actually go over and visit Donald Vlogs5's wood shop, and it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, actually on your
There's his Facebook.
yeah, actually on your web channel now. That's called Redneck Know-How, right?
Redneck know-how. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you would be so kind, Mr. Owl, to post that out there too.
Yes.
His website is Redneck Know-How.
.com.
Yeah, redneckknowhow.com.
Put it out there.
On YouTube, yep, he's already got that out there. So yeah, go visit him over there and see what he's got in store.
Or go visit him at Lowe's.
Huh?
Go visit him at Lowe's.
Go visit him at Lowe's. Yeah,
Better
really.
hurry, because the way they're talking, I may not be there much longer.
Yeah.
Started talking about writing us up for being 5 minutes late. I'm in trouble.
There's some ZZ Top looking dude on his webpage.
Yeah, that was before the beard got trimmed.
And the sunglasses, man. The future's so
Thank
bright.
y'all for all being out there. Aussie man. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with this. Aussie man, Dixon Hoffman, Wooden Stuff French, Steve French. I appreciate you being out there. T-Mac, and I'm sorry I hadn't done this before as far as calling you out in the chat, but you have to realize when I've got somebody that's occupying my attention as well as Donald did tonight and shows me as much stuff, it's hard for me to call people out in the chat. So I'm sorry if I hadn't been so attentive in the chat tonight, but yeah, Steve French. I'm going back. Jim Dockrell's been out there. Jeff Robinson, Lana Pierce, Dixon Hoffman. I think I said him before. Aussie man. Just going back through the chat real quick and calling out some Jeff Robinson. Yep. Chris Nealon has been out there. Was out there in Facebook watching us tonight. So that's really cool. I like to see people watching us on Facebook also. So Kim McCrory, he's been out there tonight. If I haven't called out your name, I'm sorry. It's just when you get somebody like Donald on tonight that did such a good job, it's hard to take away from what he's saying to talk over there and say all they're in the chat. So, but I appreciate it so very much. All right, guys.
I appreciate everybody showing up too. I've missed being on here. I really enjoyed it. So thanks to everybody who came and listened to my long-winded, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Presentation, Chris. I mean,
presentation. Your long-winded presentation.
I'm glad to have you back.
Chris.
Yeah, I want. It's the next time you have an opening. When you're not working at Lowe's, let me know and I'll bring you back on.
Cool deal.
So thank you to Paul, Al, Chris, and Donald. Again, thank you for being on tonight. And Brenda, I appreciate you out for being on here and as on the panel tonight very much. And thank you all again for being out there in the chat. You know, it makes it special every week to look over there and see all my friends. Donna's Wood Art, Donna Presley, she's out there. See y'all out there every week from week to week. Come back and watching us here, and I appreciate it so very much. Listen, if you're too busy to get out in the shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy.
Okay.
Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
Chris got a little in his ear.
Night, y'all.
Night, everybody.
Have a nice evening.
And remember, you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Move along. Move along.